The game is so great. We love our game. That's never going to go away for us. But it's the character, it's the relationships, it's the love to those players and those families, by extension. But that's the stuff that I really care about. Like,
you're listening to the First City Lacrosse Podcast, the second greatest lacrosse podcast on the planet. Buckle up, strap your helmet on, and let's go.
The scream. So
and welcome back to the podcast. We are so happy you're joining us again. I am your host, Coach Jon, and this is, of course, First City Lacrosse. And once again, my friend, colleague, and fellow coach, Coach Casey, with me on the pod. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Happy Monday. Well, Monday for us. I know it always publishes later, but it's Monday for us, and at least it lets everybody know how the sausage is made, right? You got to record on a Monday and then get it all edited and published. But yeah, it's great to be back.
Yeah, whenever we get this one out there, it'll be there. We won't tell them which Monday it's on, but we will say the NCAA baseball playoffs are on. So you can figure out kind of where we're at. And
you're in the postseason.
We'll go from there.
Exactly.
That's right. All right. Well, speaking of postseason, we are post-lacrosse season. The college playoffs are done. High school playoffs are done. Everybody's graduated. Mm-hmm. How was your season?
Season was great. We were very, very pleased with what we got through this year. Obviously, for those that have listened before, we got started May of last year of 2024. And, 13 months later, I mean, basically 12 full months later, here we are. We completed our first season of competition in the LHSLL, which is the Louisiana High School Lacrosse League. We gathered up a handful of wins. We ended up making the LHSLL D2 playoffs in our district playoffs, the quarterfinals, as it were. Had a great experience with that. And we ended up getting 3 players to earn their way onto the all-district team for the West District. At a long pole, Sawyer Soleil, one of my juniors, and then my senior, Carson St. Germain. Both those guys were both our team captains this year. Carson for a midi, and then Colin, our sophomore goalie, made it as well for the goalie position. And normally you're looking for goalies to be super high percentages, things like that. We had 5 kids on this team that ended up being about 22 players. Once the season really leveled out, 5 players that really ever played before, and one of those went down the last quarter of the season with a broken hand. So I finished the brunt of district and playoffs with missing one of my main players. It was a lefty attackman. And so Colin ended up with the goalie. He ended up with, on the season district schedule, 59% save percentage. But when you consider you only had one defender in front of you that ever played defense before, and we used him kind of a hybrid LSM deep hole, that's kind of impressive. You're going to see a lot of shots play in district Division II, but also our D1 shots that we saw. But for him to be able to put up those kind of numbers, and he also had 4 caused turnovers in the district play. Which is a big notion of a sophomore getting out of the crease and getting a little in an uncomfortable space. So all in all, it really went really well. Those 3 guys actually also made the all-state team, all division with Division II. Yeah. So Sawyer made first team as a junior D-pole, which is fantastic. And he's a rocket surgeon too. Like, he's literally going to go to aerospace engineering college. Made a 32 on the ACT this year. He's got a 4.0 since he came out the womb. Like, this kid, he's on his recruiting path this summer. Really proud of him. Looking forward to seeing where he ends up at some targeted aerospace engineering lacrosse schools.
Nice.
Carson St. Germain got the second team on the midfield. He's heading to UL. Deciding right now, but pretty much leaning towards hopefully playing for the Cajuns and Coach Keith Snyder with the UL Raging Cajuns. And then Colin got second team goalie. There's a goalie out of New Orleans, out of Rummel. Coach Austin Benton, who actually came out of our Lafayette Hurricanes or Acadiana Hurricanes program as a coach. He's now the head coach at Rummel for the last few years. His goalie, senior goalie, really good kid, Ethan Young in the East District. He is the first New Orleans goalie to sign with Centenary, and he's going to play at Centenary. So there's a lot of talent in our district. There's a lot of talent in South Louisiana, a lot of talent in Louisiana, in general. But really wanted to give a shout out to Billy Leclerc and Coach Factor and Coach Martino for what they're building. Coach Bubbles, got to give shout out to the new coach, Coach Bubbles, new graduate. Those guys are really building something special at Centenary, and it makes me feel good, for having restarted that program and then left to go to VMI and then come home again to coach, youth and high school. It's really great to see what those guys are putting together with the talent that we're actually growing here in Louisiana. Those guys are really putting something together. But going back to us again, very proud of what we did. We graduated 4 guys. All 4 are heading to college to further their academics. Very proud of that. 3 of them we're pretty certain are going to go play for Coach Keith at UL. So very proud of that. Looking forward to that. And actually, those 3 guys are also going to help us out with our summer workouts for the team and our summer growth. We're starting some stuff that we'll talk about later. But really excited about what we did. We graduated those 4. We're losing another player who is unfortunately moving up to the Northeast. Her parents got a new job. So she's one of the 2 girls we had on our team. She actually earned player of the game for us in our last game of the season. She played attack for us in that game. She had played a midfield and played attack all season. And she actually ended up with multiple caused turnovers and multiple ground balls that got us the win for that game. Game ball and everything. So very proud. Shout out to Zorinda. Zorinda was just an amazing player for us. Amazing soul, amazing person. She's going to be missed. So we're losing 5. But so far, we already have 6 incoming freshmen who have signed up, turned in their paperwork, all that good stuff for physicals. So we're already +1, which is kind of nice. And we expect that to grow throughout the summer. Football cuts and things are going to happen, and guys that don't make the baseball team and stuff like that, and they're looking for an athletic home, and we're here for them. So we're to go into year 2 +1 already, and then our stadium's going to be ready. It opens up this August, end of August, start of the football season. We'll have a brand new beautiful turf field right there, right on campus, lights, music, PA, the press box, cameras, the whole 9 yards. So we're really looking forward to year 2 with 12 returning juniors, and then Colin at goal going to be so those 12 returning juniors will be seniors. Obviously, Colin will be going into his junior year, and the rest of my team, who was all first-year players, they'll now be second-year players with some guys coming up from the Youngsville and Lafayette lacrosse leagues that have just gotten some playing time for their first time. So really excited to see what's happening here and get some growth. And ideally, we'll have a varsity and a JV freshman hybrid team this year. So things are looking pretty solid.
That's awesome. And I love the fact that your girls are playing. And it's like, because sometimes they don't, like, for example, your school, lacrosse is so new. And some of these schools, they don't have the option for like a boys team or a girls team. And so if you wanted to play, you got to play that. But there is no caveat for any of that. If they're playing, they're gearing up, they're going out there, they're running, and they're not only are they contributing, but they're, like you said, player of the game. Like you have these players, and it's just, it's kind of what I've always said. I don't care who you are. If you show up, you put the push-ups in, you're going to get rep. Like, you're going to get better. You're going to get the reps, and you're going to get playing time. I don't care who you are.
100%. So, and we talked about Zorinda with the player of the game action. Our other girl, Abigail Johnson, was a 9th grader, true freshman, never played the game before, never picked up a stick, joined us last summer. She ended up sticking it out. I don't think she missed a single practice. I don't know if she missed a workout, single practice, if I double check my attendance, but she was there for everything. She dressed out every game. She worked hard. She put everything into it. She ended up actually earning our inaugural Fighting Heart Award, which is I named after my player that we lost back in 2011 in University High. Named it the Daniel Valenson Memorial Fighting Heart Award. And so Danny lost his life to an undiagnosed heart condition, and the Fighting Heart Award actually came from my youth football experience. My head football coach in town had the Fighting Heart Award, and it was the award that wasn't for the biggest guy, wasn't for the best guy, wasn't for the greatest athlete. It was for the player who had every ounce of grit, every ounce of want, every ounce of character, every ounce of coachability inside of them, and it was a no-brainer this year when I decided that we were going to make this award and start this tradition at Southside. We made it a perpetual award, so it's got a nice little pedestal, and it's going to be like the Stanley Cup, right? As you keep adding flares. So The first layer is 3 names, and Abigail got it for this first year, and it was a no-brainer for her to get it. And everybody at the banquet was like, "Oh, absolutely, 100%." So we'll have 2 more names, and then as that goes on in 2 years, and then we'll do a new layer and a new layer, and it'll stay in the trophy case at school.
That's
got
cool.
a great picture coming, and we'll have a great post coming up for her on that. But
so
really,
I bet you there's about 100 coaches out there right now that would love to get their hands on your practice plan, your summer plan, like how you know what I mean, like how you design the season from awards to tryouts to and in your case, it's probably not really a tryout. It's more like a skills evaluation, right? You got to know what you're getting. So maybe I could convince you to share some of that.
Yeah, we could put something together. Obviously, we've got summer workouts, we've got stick skill work, we got fall ball, we got the spring counter. The biggest thing, and you know this about me, is I'm organized. If I'm not organized, I mean, I work full time. I would love to coach full time and do this as my job, and still waiting for that Powerball ticket to come in so this can happen. But I have to be organized. I've got Google Sheets and Excel docs and Word docs, planned out. I've got my next 18 months planned for this program because I have to do it. Number one, I'm a father of 3. I got a wife, I got a family. I got my job. I got life to do as well. So if I'm not organized, it's impossible. And so the biggest tip is be organized. Second tip would be, if you want me to share some stuff, I can share some breakdowns and some templates and stuff that helps, because if you're not organized, you're not ready. You got to know what you're dealing with. You got to know what dates you've got. You got to know what the next 2 months looks like, the next 6 months, the next 12 months, because otherwise, you're going to be answering questions on Tuesday night at 11 o'clock at night with parents. Well, when's the next game? When's this? What jersey? What practice? You got to have all that stuff ready, so that you can be cool, calm, relaxed, watching film, breaking down stats, all that kind of stuff. But I'll happily share that stuff. Absolutely.
I had a player message me today saying, "Hey, coach, what time is practice for tonight?" And no, it gets better. And I was like, "Bro, I'm not coaching."
Yeah,
you got the wrong guy.
That's right. That's right.
I don't coach over the summer anymore because it's just like I gotta have a break. So I was like, "Bro, I'm not coaching. You got the wrong guy." And
but you know what? I
don't have
love
any details.
But I love that you've established something to where he's texting you and like, "Hey, coach, it's Dave. Whatever. It's Jimmy. Love you, miss you. We've been out of lacrosse for a week. I'm Jones, and can we have practice?" Like, I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it was. And one thing I'm really grateful for is that even the players that I no longer coach that have gone on to different schools or things like that, they still will message me or reach out to me occasionally, like, "Hey, coach, I'm running this fundraiser for cross country. Will you sponsor me?" They know the answer is yes. Like I told them from the beginning, like, I'm going to support you guys no matter what you do. I just want you guys to be successful, happy human beings. Like, that is it. So
my wife and I talk about that all the time. The seasons are great. The wins are great. District championships, state playoffs, all that stuff's great here and there. But honestly, the graduation announcements that come in the mail, the wedding announcements for kids years down the line, baby birth announcements, just the Facebook posts, the check-ins, the Instagrams, whatever. That's where you got to measure if what you're doing was the right thing, because if they care about you and you're with them for the years, that's the measure of what you're doing. The game is so great. We love our game. That's never going to go away for us, but it's the character, it's the relationships, it's the love to those players and those families, by extension, but that's the stuff that I really care about. Like, we got to go to graduation this year. We graduated 4 guys, showed up for graduation, and people were kind of looked around and were like, "Why is there a coach here?" And I'm like, why wouldn't I be here? Like that was really weird to me, kind of in a moment of being there for that. But like, I intend to be there for all the graduations, and you want me to come to the house party? If that one doesn't conflict with that one, I'm there. Like, let's go. I want those kids coming back around, because we got to build something here, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So you got summer workouts starting. What are those going to look like?
So those are going to be 2 nights a week. June, we're going to go Tuesday, Wednesday. July, we're going Tuesday, Thursday, because of the way the calendar worked out with all sports and our timing. We're one of the few that needs to go in the evening, because, the other coaches are faculty full time, so they get to go in the morning or midday. It actually worked out for us a little bit better for the evenings. I've got some new coaches coming on board, which is fantastic. I've got the two Howell brothers coming over from Catholic High in Baton Rouge. They've moved to Lafayette. They actually moved here this last Friday. One's going to be a teacher in our school district, hopefully at Southside. And one's going to grad school at UL. So we'll have those two. My current assistant coach, Coach Ruth, her brother, who also played Division III at Muhlenberg, he's going to come coach with us and help us coach the defense this year. And then former Southside High student, Acadian Hurricane player that went to play Division II at Quincy University, has come home to finish his degree and graduate program. He wants to join us as a college kid and an assistant coach. So we've actually got multiple coaches coming in, and possibly one more, waiting on one or two more. So we might get a really good 3-to-1 player coach ratio here before we know it. But we're going to get those workouts. We're going to do 1 hour is weights, but not so much strength. We're more about flexibility and mobility and agility. And then we're going to do speed ladder drills, cone drills, things like that. We're going to get our feet a little bit faster. And then we'll have about 45 minutes of stick skills. So over that 2 hours, we'll get after it. And then on Wednesday nights in June and then Thursday nights in July, we'll have the first iteration of the Youngsville Lacrosse League. So this is the first break off of the Lafayette Lacrosse League that we've had since 2019. This one is specifically for kids in Youngsville, for the middle school players and kids that feed to Southside High School or to our neighboring charter school, Arca High School. And it's specifically for the 4 middle schools of those kids or the homeschool kids in that zone. As of this podcast, we have 19 kids signed up for it right now. I'm actually looking on my other screen. And they'll play 45 minutes of stick skill work. And my varsity players will be the coaches. So we'll break those kids up into small groups, and then they'll get stick skill work, and then they'll play 3v3 on the gym floor with the soft indoor balls, sticks only, no contact, basically basketball rules, but 3v3 lacrosse, speed lacrosse, as you're familiar with Casey Powell. And we'll break them up into teams of 5 so they can play 3v3 and really just get after it and get going. A bunch of these kids played in the March Lafayette Lacrosse League 6s that we talked about. That was very successful.
Such a good way to build your stick skills in your shorter game. We did that just for we did that literally 4 quick weeks. We did Tuesday, Thursday for 4 weeks. Those kids that had never played before, I would say about 2/3 of that group had never played before. A third were returning players and guys that had played before in the Hurricanes. By the time we got to that 4th week, number one, they were all better. They were all fast. They were all Joneson for more, which was great. And number two, they weren't scared anymore. They were ready to get after it. They wanted 8 more weeks. They were like, let's play right away. Like, let's turn around and play another season. Like we had 5 schools represented, 6 full teams actually of 6s. We broke them up into 6s rosters, and one school had to break into 2 because they had so many kids, which was great. And so it really worked out. And so that was a padded deal. Our summer will be a sticks only for this first iteration. And we kind of talked about it in the pre-record. This will be the free summer. We're going to start them off and let them know, like, hey, this is how it goes. And hopefully more people can pay attention. And next year we got 40, and the year after we got 60. But, we got to, you got to pay for sticks. You got to pay for not gloves. You got to pay for goals. You got to pay for balls, things like that. So you got to have a little bit of revenue to come in to support itself. But the main thing is now I've got a roster of 20-something kids who all played lacrosse last year, who now know what it's like to be coached. And now they're going to turn around and coach the future. They're going to coach the incoming 6th through 8th graders. And they're going to, teach kids how to throw left and right-handed, catching ground balls and shoot. And make sure they get their attention and make sure that everybody's respectful and honoring the game and those kind of things. And I'm really intentional with that this year because it's helpful, obviously, with more coaches coming in and getting everybody involved in the program. But having my players understand what it's like to coach after a year of being coached, where most of those kids never played another sport. If they did, they played baseball or something else. Now I think it's going to help us going into fall ball, into, October, November, December, and then next season, they'll have that experience now of a year of playing, a summer of coaching, a summer of getting after it with the kids and doing their own workouts again. I think it's going to really build everybody up and make them that much better athletes, student athletes, but also, lacrosse players for what we're doing and sharks for what we need them to be. So it's going to be an interesting next 12 months ahead. So what kind of goals have you set? I mean, you finished the season with fundamentally, like you said, just a handful of experienced players. You performed probably better than expectations, I would assume.
Definitely.
And so what kind of goals have you set for next season? You've got a bunch of returning players. You can't say
we do.
I'm a new team anymore. You have all experienced players almost.
No, we were very intentional with our scheduling this year. We tried to play everybody in our Division II twice, and we got most of that done. Everybody that we played twice.
How many teams are there?
So there's 9 teams in Division II, and then there's 20 whatever teams it is in Division I altogether.
Wow. Okay.
So we played some D1 teams, and we played a couple of JV teams. We played them 2 or 3 times. 2 or 3 different JVs 2 times. But the big thing about being intentional with that was everybody we played twice, we got statistically and fundamentally better the second time we played them. We did not regress any game, and that was a big push for us this last year that we realized in season we really wanted to be focusing on, and that's something we're talking about this summer as a coaching staff and going into fall. Next year we want to be statistically better from that second game from spring to the next time we play them, and then the fourth time we're going to play them in the spring. So third time in the spring, fourth time. We really want to be that much better. So the games that, we got blown out by Catholic High 12-1 the first time we played them. Met them up in the playoffs, lost 6-1. So defensively, we got better. Offensively, a little bit of gameplay there, but also they got better in the year. So they got better on defense in terms of our opponents. So it's going to be a matter of understanding that and getting better at the things that we kept harping on. We want to make sure those stay on our increasing, and then increase the other things that we weren't able to get to yet. Like now we're going to have more coaches. We're going to have a lot more focused small position group play. We're going to have a lot more lax IQ to grow on this year. That's going to be a big focus for us this year. Understanding how to watch film a little bit better, how to analyze ourselves, and not get down on ourselves. That was a big one with this group, and I think it's an issue of teenagers this day and age. They take a lot to heart. They don't understand out of the gate, or maybe they do. They just don't have the tools yet to react. But they think everything is like an attack, and it's not. It's always like hey, we missed that ground ball there. We need to turn and go this way. Oh, well, I saw so-and-so do it and go left. And it's like, well, yeah, but we're talking about this instance and to get better at this thing. So there's things like that we're going to get better at on a micro level, but on a macro level, we're definitely focused on continuing that improvement. Who we've played before and bringing that gap down. Our big push this last year was, we know early on we're going to lose big, and then we're going to lose small, and then we're going to win small, and then we're going to win big. That was our practice and our focus, and we ended up doing that. We ended up finding some big wins after some small wins, after some small losses, after some. Well,
and
losses.
I love the fact that you were able to find victory even in defeat. Like you 100%. Said, you lost 12-1 the first time, but 6-1 the second time, because you're finding those measurables, you're finding those statistics, and you're finding ways to improve in certain areas. You care less about the W on the scoreboard. It's great to get the W. Everybody wants to win, right? We all want to end a season 20-0, but unfortunately, this is what I tell my teams often, is like, every single team, with the exception of one this year, is going to have a conversation at the end of the season saying this game didn't go the way we planned. And that's just the way it is. That's how it works. College teams have that conversation. Everybody. So you have to go into it with the expectation, like, I'm not going to care as much about the wins and the losses like you have just stated, but I am going to focus on player improvement, team improvement, and getting better. And the way we're going to measure it is by playing these teams twice, and we're going to collect stats the first time, and then we're going to improve the stats the second time.
Absolutely.
That's the way. That's how you coach.
Yeah, and we were very fortunate this year to do that. We had 2 very wonderful freshman team managers, team statisticians, girls that helped us out, and we had a wonderful freshman girl who filmed all of our practices and all of our games, and
that's
uploaded
huge.
Our games to our team YouTube. We had, everything's on our Google accounts now, right? And we got everything up on all of our practices are obviously private. We don't share that, but all of our game film was up on YouTube, and we said, look, this is who we are. This is the game we put on the field. We're going to let you know, hey, our opponents, they got to look at your film anyway, so we might as well put it on YouTube for everybody to get access to it, and for you guys to make your own highlights and make your own adjustments. And that really resonated on, I would say, the last third of the season, when they started, playing a lot more, playing better competition, and getting a lot more on-field respect from opponents. but also recognizing just how fortunate they were that we had Isabella on the camera and Addie and Amy on the stat book this year, which is what helped us with getting three guys in all district and 3 guys in all state, because you have to have the stats to back that up. And I can't, I could, but I can't stay up every night watching game film and micro tracking every stat. I mean, I could have, and my wife would have, thrown me outside, but I didn't. I got fortunate with what we were building. And that's the other thing you're talking about, bringing people into your program. Bring people in. Doesn't matter, boy, girl, what they can do. If they want to be a part of the program, throw a clipboard at them. Give them a stopwatch. Give them a manager bag. Give them something to help the program. These kids want to be a part of something, and that was really special this first time around. That was really something they talked about a lot in their exit meetings, which we did. Exit meetings, which was a big thing at the end of the season. 3 nights, we spread the team out.
I love it. I love it so much.
What did you guys enjoy? What did you guys not enjoy? What did you guys think that I was just absolutely out of my box about? Like we were honest. Kids were allowed to be honest, and frankly, we demanded it. But we also told them we were going to be honest with them right back, and that's how we're approaching the changes and the pushes forward. And they understand. A lot was born out of that. We've got a summer leadership program now for everybody that wants to be captain for next year, wants to be considered. They're going through a leadership program with Coach Ruth, my assistant coach, who's been a guidance counselor at the middle school and high school level. She's got her degrees and all of that. She's worked in admissions at Duke, at Manhattan, at Muhlenberg. She's been all over the place.
Wow.
She's putting them through a weekly deal, and there's like assignments they have to. It's easy. I mean, not easy, not to say easy, but it's very non-intensive. But it's making them get out of their comfort zone to think about certain leadership capabilities and why they want to be a leader and what it takes to be a leader. So that's an 8-week deal they're going through this summer to go through the program. And then we'll have squad leaders next year. So the seniors who don't get elected captain will be squad leaders. So we'll break the team up into groups of like 4 and 5, 3, 4, 5, depending on the squads, so that they can have, an upperclassman, a middleclassman, and a freshman, kind of help each other out. Big brother, big sister kind of a thing. That was a big thing, is that they loved that from last year and they wanted to go back to it. The other thing that our kids really wanted and spoke openly about was they wanted more team bonding outside of actual practices and games. We did team dinners. The parents put a whole lot of effort and did some great things with team dinners. I think we did 4, maybe 5 of them this year. And that was either 2 nights before or a night before a big game, and everybody got together and it was a pasta night, or, a lasagna or chili or whatever it was, spaghetti. And the kids really enjoyed that, just 90 minutes to 2 hours of just time. Like they were just being friends and being goofy, and some of them brought sticks and they were throwing and catching, and they'd watch a lacrosse game or a movie or something, and they were like, we want more of that. Like we want to be able to get together and go watch the playoffs, or we want to go watch the PLL games, or what can we do? Can we all just go to Dave and Buster's one night? Can we all go to the summer baseball game or something? So really loved the culture and the fact that they recognized there were some small groups that formed, which is natural with a class or a set of friends, which would have, but they realized that they wanted to break that and get all together, all 20 something of them together, and including the managers. They were like, absolutely, we want Addie and Amy and we want everybody around. So I was really happy with that, and we're definitely going to be pushing that to continue into next year and beyond, frankly.
I love that. That is so good. I mean, that to me, that's the difference between, you're talking about the W's and the L's on the scoreboard. That can be the difference, because you have that team chemistry, and it's one of the things we say, like why we do those things. 'Cause it's like, well, the players have to know each other outside of this.
100%.
Otherwise they're not going to trust each other on the field. They have to trust each other off the field too. That's the only way to make it work. So, man, I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you guys are doing that. Yeah. In an effort to keep my promise to your wife to keep this one short, let's go ahead and wrap here. It seems like a good stopping point for right now. But once again, Casey McDonald spitting facts, hitting hard truth, and everything you're saying, my friend, once again, solid gold as far as coaching and creating a team fundamentally out of thin air. So, dude,
I didn't do it alone.
You were doing all the things right.
I appreciate that, but I do want to make sure it's known and said it took a lot of effort. I have a fantastic faculty sponsor who happens to be a player mom. but she's a faculty teacher. I have a fantastic administration that gave us support. The football coaching staff was supportive to not say, oh no, we don't want lacrosse, it's football. And I was very fortunate to have that. I want to make sure people realize it's not done by one person. It's not done by two. You need to get a group together. You need to get some like-minded individuals, but you got to be organized. You got to have the answers ready to go, and you got to be ready to go do the work. I mean, we ended up raising close to $18,000 in funds this year. It took to start this program from scratch. So, it's not an overnight success. It's not something that was done by one magic coach. It wasn't. Yes, being organized and being driven certainly helps. But I want to make sure people realize too, you gotta go find the help. You gotta ask for help. You gotta be willing to take help. And I think that's how we're going to get started with a lot more programs. You're going to have to start grassroots. You're going to have to start like with the summer deal, with the Youngsville lacrosse deal, or the small lacrosse leagues, 3v3, 6s, and just give them the opportunity to play, guys. Give them the opportunity to find a way, find a field, find a goal, find a trash can that's a goal. Don't figure it out. Get these kids, get sticks in their hands, and let's just grow the game the right way.
Yeah, I'm going to buy your practice jerseys again.
I appreciate that. Our guys.
Man.
We're actually going to be wearing them all summer. I really appreciated that. We're going to be wearing them all summer. We're going to have white versus gray. You and I could definitely talk about design and new color for this year, but that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
that is a huge benefit.
Hey man, I appreciate
the
you.
The logo looks great. The logo looks great on the jersey.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, what? And it's like, that's the podcast. You got to follow.
Yeah.
That's why we share.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the kids love that.
Maybe I'll try to make it out there and hand deliver them this year. I think that'd be awesome. Super cool. I'd love to come and see the practice and all that.
Oh, absolutely. They would love that. Absolutely.
Yep. All right, Casey, thank you for being here. Everybody else, thanks for listening. As always, you can find us on social media at First City Lax. You can email me directly at Jon at First City Lax. That's 1ST, citylax.com. Casey, thank you. We're going to do this again, but for everybody else, get your reps in, be a good human. We will see you next time. We are out of here.
If you like what you hear, drop us a like and follow wherever you downloaded this podcast from, and on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at First City Lax. Check back every week for more content. Thank you for being a part of the First City Lacrosse podcast.